My people, good morning. Let's have a brief chat real quick.
I can't keep up the pace. Sweet got me up my waist. He done put it on my plate. Bunny, you.
So today I was feeling like hitting on the subject of the cost of survival mode because a lot of us are in it, right? For those of you that don't know, I've been in survival mode for quite some time now. I'm relatively new to Charlotte. I've been here maybe, 2.5, 3 years, somewhere around there. And I came from Atlanta. I was in Atlanta for about 12 years via Detroit. So ever since the big move, from Detroit to Atlanta, having my life in Atlanta, uprooting it to move to Charlotte, I've been in survival mode for a long time. And it kind of dawned on me that we often talk about the conversations of, why everybody is so lonely nowadays, or why nobody wants to be wrong or likes to be wrong, um, and why it seems like nobody can make anything work as pertains to relationships and whatnot. And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I kind of think it's because a lot of us are in survival mode. When you've been in survival mode for so long, you basically get accustomed to doing things your way, the very things that have always worked for you to get you from point A to point B and or point Z, right? So it becomes almost like second nature to do those things or be those ways because it's helped you basically survive, right? And I think when we're so used to being in survival mode, even when we no longer need to be, or even when it's not necessary anymore, right? It's not easy to let go of those habits that we've had, or those habits that we've formed along the way, trying to make it. So it's sort of like a trickle effect or a domino effect, right? So I feel like that's where the root of it starts, is being in survival mode. And one of the reasons why we're in this lonely epidemic is, I feel, a lot of times not even because the people or person that we deal with is not necessarily meant for us or meant to be, or the right person. Because a lot of times we like to say, oh, I'm trying to protect my peace, oh, I'm trying to protect, what I have, and I don't want no drama, this, that, and the third one. Really, it's a matter of capacity, and a matter of not knowing how to deal with something or someone else outside of your own circumstances. Not that a person was necessarily wrong, or that situation was wrong for you. It was more so a matter of it disturbing your comfort. But sometimes our comfort is literally just our survival. The tactics and things that we use to survive. And it's about having to navigate through that, and having to either have someone help, or even you come to a point where you realize that a lot of the things I've been doing have been benefiting me, but not necessarily because I'm selfish, but I've done this so that I can survive and make it day to day, on a day to day basis, and do the things I need to do to get up and carry on. And a lot of times, too, we have different vices and things that we use to kind of soothe ourselves, right? So we may engage in, buying something for ourselves or going out, or, I just want to let off a little steam. And we may run into someone that is compatible with us, but you're talking about merging two lives from two different experiences. So of course it's going to have its ups and downs and its challenging times, but realizing that because we're in survival mode, sometimes we don't know how to get out of our own way. Um, to see something that could potentially be good for our growth and for our person. Um, a lot of us have to learn that it's not about you being or doing something wrong or another person being or doing something wrong, but more so that, hey, I've been in survival, or I've been living check to check, or I've been, doing this thing for so long, so it's comforting to me. So it's not that you're trying to protect your peace, you're trying to fight against something that's kept you comfortable for a long time, that's worked for you and your survival, and that you no longer need it. And understanding that not all the time will things always be on a peak of happiness or that high dopamine hit, right? We tend to think that if something or someone is not continuously hitting that dopamine wall back to back, that it's not meant for us, or that person is disturbing my peace, or that person is not meant for me. And it's like, no, well, life doesn't work like that. Life isn't about having this high that we're on at all times, right? I was watching this video the other day, and the guy was talking about how he was with his partner, and he expressed to them that they're unhappy 25% of the time, and that made them second guess the relationship. And someone else had commented under, if you're with that person majority of the time and they make you unhappy 25% of the time, but you can make your own self happy, that's a pretty good ratio, considering, right? Which it really is, in my opinion. Um, if you're with somebody 90 to 100% of the time, or you spend most of your time with them, and it's only that 20%, 80-20, that's not a bad ratio, or 25%. So it'd be more, I mean, if you want to be technical, 75 anyway. But the point that I'm making is that you will never be 100% happy on a dopamine high all the time. It's not sustainable, and it's not life. But all that to just say, let's look into our capacity, y'all. Let's look into our our lives and think about what it is that we've been through, and ask yourself if you're in survival mode. Because a lot of times survival mode is what causes you to either miss out on something, say that somebody's disturbing your peace, not want to try or be in something else because you're so exhausted from you having to survive. So look into that, right? And ask yourself those things. Where am I in life right now? What am I doing? What's going on? Am I really in survival mode? Am I living check to check? Am I stressed? Am I making certain decisions because I'm stressed? So I feel like a lot of that is what leads to us being as lonely as we are, especially for men, because men, a lot of us are operating in this hustle mentality, right? Because it's often frowned upon, when a man is resting too much, or not doing enough, right? Not working, because in our culture we appreciate men that work, 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 and never rest or never sit. Um, so when you have that culture indoor mentality, and you're also in survival mode, so not only are you doing things to be able to survive, but you have to look like you're always busy or constantly busy. We don't have the capacity to really think about anybody else or anything else that's going to take us out of any type of comfort that we can hold on to, right? So we tend to do things or make decisions that may not be the best decisions in the long run. They might feel good in the moment, but in the long run, it's going to hurt us, and then we have to play catch up, right? So I think that we should all, women included, look into where you are, where you're sitting, and truly have the conversation of, is it that this thing or this person is wrong for me or disturbing my peace, or is it that I've been in survival mode so I'm not able to look outside of the things that I have to do, for one, to survive, and the little comfort that I have, if it's a matter of just widening my capacity, and that this very thing over here or this person over here is actually not bad, or it's actually not that they're not meant for me or meant to be in my life at whatever capacity, whether it's platonic or romantic. Start looking at if you're in a position of a mode of survival or not. Because I know that the more I sit and think about it, the more I'm like, wow, I've been in survival mode for years. A lot of us have been in survival mode for years. Just trying to do what we have to do to make it to the next, the next step, the next spot, to elevate. Because a lot of us are always thinking of, what can I do to elevate? And if you're not a person that's, say, for instance, living check to check, how is it that you're still, or why is it that you're still operating in certain ways? Or realizing, I am operating in this way and I don't need to, right? So I think that the conversation starts at recognizing if you are in survival mode. And I think that'll help answer a lot of other questions. One of them being the one I just explained about being lonely. Yeah. A lot of us are lonely because we're in survival mode and we don't know how to get out of it. Yeah, so that's what was on my mind today, y'all. Have a great Saturday. Be safe. See y'all in the next brief chat.
I can't keep up with this. Sweet got me off my way. Put it on my blood.